Good evening. Again, we are back, and I'm very excited to be here once more. Our subject today is service. It's about service. And again, another disclaimer, I am not an expert in this matter. I'm just sharing my experience. And yeah, that's all. Somebody can see it different or, but this is my, understanding of service. So many of us comes into the rooms and we find out there's 5 pillars, and of each one of them is obviously service, and it starts from a simple thing of servicing your own meeting, being early on, in the meeting to maybe stack up chairs, making coffee, and then gradually, somehow, one becomes, a member of a committee, depending on what are the rules of, joining committees that serve, the whole in a program. Some people will say you need to be 6 months clean, you have to have a sponsor, you have to be doing your step work, because the understanding of service is not necessarily just about saving the meeting, it's also about saving others, my concept of service is being selfless, is giving something that you have selflessly, which is mostly time, my experience of service actually came very early in my recovery, when I realized that I've got people who resent me, a lot. My community, where, I have wronged a lot of people, and many of them I cannot necessarily make direct amends, So when I do service to them, it's like I'm righting a wrong, even though it is not necessarily righting a wrong, but, giving off my time, giving off my service. I believe we all have talents. All of us have got something to offer to the community. Some of us have got so much knowledge that we can volunteer, to really do stuff for our community as also another way of paying it forward, So service for me is one of those pillars that is very important. I remember coming into these rooms, especially during that time when, so we only had like one meeting, and somehow, I don't know, should I call it fortune, or should, I was interested with that one meeting. I was somehow fortunate to be one of those that could stay clean longer. There was other people who come and go, and it was on to me that I keep this meeting going, and what is very important for me is that this meeting helped me stay clean. So I saw doing my meeting not only about myself attending the meeting, but also saving others. So going to that meeting religiously, for me, it was one of those important things, and it kept me clean. That meeting became sort of a power greater than me, and for me, it was service, up until I started, understanding what really service means, So when we say service keeps us clean, it's about us knowing that we become part of a community, we become part of a cause. It doesn't matter what cause it is. It's not only supposed to be in the realm of NA, only, it should also be about, saving the community. And my realization of service somehow, cleared, a few misunderstanding, especially about edicts, around me and in my community, so helping my neighbor, my granny neighbor who could not, take care of me, for an example, his gardening and certain things that she could not do, in her yard, I would do without even expecting nothing in return, and I kept on doing such things that somehow it helped renew, or, help, renew, my relationship with almost everybody around me. So I'm not going to make it a long subject, but service, even going on to service area, in terms of running the committees, that helps, NA, grow, and you become part of committees that are responsible for meetings, conventions, all of those things, serving in those organizations that allow us to spread the word. It's for me good service. It has nothing to do with my ego or how much I'm doing something. Am I doing it for my accolades? Do I want to be known and seen as somebody that is, in a committee, so that I can, control, or so that I can seem to be taking part in my recovery? No, I can. It is service. It's for me more about even work. Whatever work that I do is actually service. It doesn't matter whether I stack boxes or, whatever form of work that I do, meaning that in a conveyor belt of work, if I pack a box here, meaning that my colleague has to pick it up, knowing that this box is perfect and it's going to go on to the next process and to the next process, without me only thinking about the remuneration, the money, and end of the month, yada yada story. But no, making sure that my colleague will also have to earn their living through how I will make it easier for them to actually earn and take care of their families. So work, whatever work that one can do, if I perceive it as service, then it allows me to become dedicated, to be enthusiastic, to find more about it. Obviously, if I show interest in what I do, obviously I'm going to move a level higher all the time, climb the stairs, rather than remaining, at one place, because I'm dragging my feet going to work. I'm not happy about doing it. I'm dissatisfied. I'm always, dissatisfied about the money, about the people. So it dampens my spirit. It dampens how I see the world. And so if I perceive it as service, trust me, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to serve today. I'm going to change the world, whichever way, whichever little part that I do in my life that I call service. Others call it work, but for me, it's simply service. Even if when I'm getting remunerated for it, many times even the money that one actually gets for whatever job, I don't think it is actually enough to satisfy anybody. So if I do not perceive it as service, therefore I will forever remain dissatisfied. And when I'm dissatisfied, what happens? I'm not carrying my duty like service. That means that I am unhappy. I am fighting everyone around me. I'm making it difficult for the next guy to continue with the next process. So for me, service as simple as helping the next person to live a better life, helping other addicts, being a sponsor is one of those best ways that one can be of service. And when you say service keeps us clean, I mean, imagine if I'm a sponsor and I relapse, meaning that I'm going to take so many people down with me. You know what I mean? So somehow doing the service, keeping me clean. So I've got sponsors that actually keeps me clean. Somehow I used to say, my sponsors are my sponsors, because they are the ones that actually help me even understand the program better, because the questions they will pose, the challenges they will bring forth, sometimes I don't even have the answers myself. So I have to go back to my sponsor and say, hey, dude, please make me understand, how does 1, 2, 3 work? And then if he doesn't even know himself, he will ask his sponsor. So there will be 2, 3 generations trying to figure out how to help an addict immediately. You know what I mean? So and I would not claim that I know it all, because so many questions, especially on the green and gold, they have many ways. I mean, you can find 2 questions, 3 questions that almost sound similar, but they are not. But so how do I get my understanding of those questions? Is through my sponsor. The sponsor that is doing service to me. All right. If he does not understand, he has his sponsor who's doing service to him. So there's generational service, perpetuality of some sort, So yes, again, service, we're doing it selflessly without expecting anything. Many of us feel like, because we just found out this new way. Now we want to help others immediately. No. We cannot pick up wanting to help others before we even help ourselves. So that is not service. This is like trying to clean up our lives by helping others, taking others to rehab, and trying to help the still suffering addict when we don't even understand how it works, even for ourselves, for myself. I mean, how do I help? How do I do a 12-step call when I have not even finished my step 12? How do I do that? How do I be in a committee when I don't even understand the traditions of any? This is why we find that there's so many problems that are happening within our fellowship, because we are so keen to do things that are just beyond ourselves. We truly have to keep it simple. I try to keep it simple, but yeah, as again, I'm trying to drive around again. But anyway, service has always kept me clean, because that is one way of paying for what I have. Is one way of giving what I have for free. It's one way of paying all that has gone wrong in my life, fixing, not really necessarily righting the wrongs, but being a productive and a productive member of society, a person that contributes to my community. Because I've been taking. I think it's about time that I start giving and giving. And the more I give, the more will come my way as well. But without expectation. Remember, service is without expectation. Thank you for allowing me to share. Let's see for the next video. Enjoy this evening. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.